Oh, Peter. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Taylor's Trick-Taking Table. I'm Trick, specifically Zimbabwe Trick. You know, me and Zimbabwe don't have much in common, except we're both very bad with money, as you can tell by this dancing cactus I recently bought. Today, we'll be looking at another game developed by Taika Waititi, famous New Zealand film director. What's that? Oh, I've made this joke before, and it wasn't funny the first time. Is it funny now? It's still not funny. Okay, it's actually by Taiki Shinzawa. We covered American Bookshop by him in the past. The hook to Zimbabwe Trick is kind of like High Society or QE in that it's a bidding game, but if you win the most tricks, you actually bust and get no points. The other hook is as you play cards, you keep them out in front of you and you play onto the number of previous cards that you played. Let's go to the table and I'll show you how to play. Zimbabwe Trick is a suitless trick taker. There are 55 cards in total, made up of 10 10s, 9 9s, all the way down to 1 1. To set up, shuffle all the cards and deal 12 to each player, no matter the player count. Set aside any extra. Then, you decide start player in any manner you choose. Let's say it's the Pikachu car. Pikachu car will look at their cards and determine how many tricks they think they're going to win. Let's say they expect to win 4 tricks. They will take 4 purple chips and put that in front of them. Then the next player, Link, will look at theirs. Let's say they expect to win 3 tricks. They will get 3 chips. It goes to Tommy. Let's say Tommy expects to win 3 tricks as well. So Tommy will then take 3 chips and put it in front of them. I'll explain why you would bid a certain way, but for now, let's go back to Pikachu and they'll lead. So let's say they pick this 6. In Zimbabwe Trick, since there's no suits, you actually have to follow suit with the number. So, since Pikachu played a 6, we'll look at Link's hand, and they have to play a 6 if they have one. They do, so they play this 6, and it goes in front of them. Finally, coming to Tommy here, it looks like they have a 6 as well, so they would have to play the 6. In Zimbabwe Trick, if all the numbers are the same, then it goes to the last played number. So Tommy would win the trick. They take one of these tan cubes and put it onto their purple bid chip to show that they've won the trick. The cards stay out in front of the player, and Tommy would be the lead player for the next trick. So now it's Tommy's turn to lead, and here's where the first interesting wrinkle of Zimbabwe Trick comes in. The next trick that you lead actually overlaps your last trick. So let's say Tommy led with this 8 here. So instead of just an 8, they actually place it in front. So now it's an 86, and it goes to Pikachu car. So Pikachu has to play an 8 because it's the suit that's led. So Pikachu, looking at their hands, would have to play this 8 here. So they also play 86. Coming to Link now, since they don't have an 8, they can play whatever they want. So if they played a 76, they would lose, but let's say they played this 96. They've won this trick, and they take one of the cubes and put it on theirs. Now it's Link's turn. Let's say they led with this 10. So coming to Tommy, Tommy would have to play this 10, and then Pikachu would have to play this 10. So even though they all played 10s, and maybe you might think Pikachu would win this trick, you actually look at the numbers they've played since it's in front of them. And this is where previous cards played actually come into play. So Link actually has 1,096, whereas Tommy and Pikachu have 1,086. So Link wins this trick again, even though all players played the same 10. 10s are interesting because while they're very strong, they actually get covered up. And by that, I mean the 1 gets covered up. So let's say it's Link's turn to play, and they play this 4. This 4 is going to cover up the 1, meaning they've effectively played 4,096. When it comes to Tommy, Tommy doesn't have a 4, so they can play this 5, and they've played 5,086. Coming back to Pikachu, they do have a 4, so they will play 4,086. So now Tommy has won this trick. Well, they'll take a cube. This play continues until all players have played their 12 cards. So we fast forwarded here to the end of the game, where all the 12 tricks have gone out. So Pikachu here has only gotten 2 of their 4 hopeful bids. Link has hit exactly 3 of their 3, and Johnny has gone way over. So, in Zimbabwe trick, whoever takes the most tricks gets 0 points. They've inflated their currency and busted, essentially. Then you look at who's made their bid. Link has made their bid, so they get 2 points per trick they've won, so they would get 6 here. Then you see anyone who didn't make their bid gets 1 point per trick they've won, so Pikachu would get 2 points. There are stones in the game to help you keep track of score, so maybe whites are worth 1, these reds are worth 5, and you can dole out the points that way, or you could just include a paper and pen. But after that, you would return all of the bidding tokens and markers back to the supply. You would shuffle back in all of the set-aside cards, and you would deal out 12 more cards. And it said to play best of 3 in the rules, but it seems to be up to the player's choice. That's how you play Zimbabwe trick. There is a variant on the scoring that my gaming group actually prefers, and I have a kind of an example outlined here. So how it works is, instead of the person with the most tricks busting and getting 0 points, if you get the most tricks but you still hit your bid, you actually get 2 points per trick as usual. And then it goes to the next highest who missed their bid. So Tommy over here, who bid 3 and got 3, wouldn't bust, but Pikachu over here, who only got 1 and didn't get their bid of 2, would then actually bust and get 0 points. There is a small case in the original scoring where if a player got tied for most, then it's whoever took the last trick. So in this case, if Link and Tommy both got 4, if Link took the last trick, they would actually go bankrupt and get 0 points. So that is Zimbabwe trick. I really enjoyed this game. The production of it is really clean. I know Japanese trick takers, Japanese games in general, try to pay attention to box size and really making sure that the components are useful if they're going to be included and really small. The little discs and the cubes for bidding are perfect, and I know it's not necessarily needed because you can just use a pen and paper, but the stones for scoring are really nice touch. The cards themselves, super clear. I love that they're all different Zimbabwe-related things, like the flag. I don't understand what footballs have to do with Zimbabwe. I couldn't for the life of me find out why footballs are on the 7, but the production is amazing. The game flows super smoothly. I think the trick-taking isn't too forceful. I don't think it plays itself too badly. It does a little bit, and I'd say that initial bid is probably the biggest choice you have in the game, and trying to hit that is kind of a maneuver during the trick-taking. But I'd say it's very quick, very smooth. Playing those 10s are really strong, but then when you cover up the 1 in the 10, it goes back down to a 0. Because playing kind of a lower number early, or a higher if you want a lot of tricks, is super important. You can just play 1 or 2 earlier on, and then every tie, in the future, because the cards stay out, is going to another player. So you're kind of sitting there, and just that early 1 or 2 that you played is paying off for you. The main scoring is good. I really like the main scoring. It's definitely QE, definitely high society based, where you get the most, you bust and get 0 points. I think, though, my group and I have found that sometimes, especially in a 3-player, I think it's definitely better at 4, but at a 3-player, you cut out those cards and everyone gets 12, and a player could just have a really good hand and really good hand in this game is a bad hand, you know, 9s, 8s, and 10s. And let's say the other two players bid 3 and 3, and you're kind of screwed. You have to bid 3, and you're trying not to take the last trick even then, but you have all these high numbers, so it becomes pretty hard to not bust. And so the variant scoring, which makes it so if you hit your bid, no matter how high, you still get points, is really fun. It adds tension to the people who miss their bids that are lower, because they could be screwed over and get busted. And it also allows it so if you get dealt a really strong hand, or a bad hand in this game, that you're not just screwed. The one thing that the variant scoring misses compared to the original scoring is that whoever gets the most busts. I really like that, definitely QE and High Society. I think the variant scoring makes up for that, though, in that lower players have that tension now of, if I don't make it and someone who played higher or got more tricks but still hits their bid, then I'm screwed as well. So it makes almost everyone at the table super tense. So that's Zimbabweee Trick. I really like this game. I think as a bidding trick taker, it's so interesting that you have just one bid, you know, make it or break it, and the whole game is just finessing that to hit it just right. The availability is tough on this one. I picked it up at Tokyo Game Market 2019 and have tried to find it online. It's been pretty tough. I'd say making a homebrew copy isn't too bad, 55 cards, but if you're really into bidding trick takers, I'd say this is one to definitely check out. Thanks for watching.